Trapezoid. Does anyone know the trapezoid formula?
Absolutely.
Eric, what is the trapezoid formula?
It's 1/2 height base 1 plus base 2.
Solid. Do we know any of this?
Absolutely.
What do we know?
You can know base 1 and
Okay.
base 2.
So base 1 is
20.
okay,
Or are we going 14?
and then the other one's 14.
Wait. What you talking about?
And then you can find the height.
All we did was identify the bases. So the bases are the two pieces that are parallel to each other. The like flat sides essentially. The pieces that are parallel to each other are the bases. So base 1 is 20, base 2 is 14, or you could flip them around, it doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference. So we're just filling in what we know. We don't know the height. So that's what we're going to find.
This is not hard. Yeah, I remember now.
So this is representing the height.
Man, we did a math Excel not so long ago that had it was some shape. I don't remember. It was so tricky because the triangle. I don't know.
So let's focus on this triangle right here. If this is 60, what's this?
30.
30, because it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, so in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, we know that the hypotenuse is double the short leg, and we know that the long leg is √3 times the short leg. Now, what are we given?
6.
We're like sort of given 6, okay? So if this whole piece is 20, and this is 14, then that makes this 6. And 6 is indeed the short, because it's across from 30 degrees. That's what makes it the short leg. So we're going to do long leg, which is the height, equals √3 times short leg, which we just discovered was 6. And we usually write that as 6√3, not √3 times 6.
Wait, you got √3 how again?
That's just the rule.
I think that's what I've been doing wrong in my math Excel.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, for one of them I plugged in, like, √4.
You got to know the rules. Like, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
that's why I-
memorization. Yeah, you got to know the 45, 45, 90 rules. You got to know the 30, 60, 90 rules, or you're not going to be able to get the answer. And so then we just kind of multiply all this together. So we get half of 6√3, and then if we add these, we get 36.
And 36 times 6 is...
Well, oh wait, not 36. 34. I don't know why I said 36. It's 34. 20 plus 14 is 34. Duh. So then you can take like half of 6 or half of 34, whatever.
Let's do half of 34.
So half of 34 would be 17 times 6√3.
So 102
√3. And then this is going to be square inches.
It makes sense when you like do it.
What is the area of a triangle? Formula.
1/2 base times height.
Solid. Now, the only like perpendicular that they give us is this one right here. So that has to be our height, which means this
It's our base.
is the base. And we don't know none of that. We know nothing. But that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just look at this triangle right here. And I'm going to redraw it.
It's a 30, 60, 90.
And it's a 30, 60, 90. So redrawing that triangle, it is a 30, 60, 90 with a hypotenuse of 8
Oh, so 8 divided by 2
is what?
Short, so it's H.
Good, good. So 8, half of 8 is the short leg. Which one's the short leg?
H.
The bottom one.
No, it's
Or
this
that-
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom.
So this would be 4
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
hypotenuse equals double the short leg.
Wait, where'd
Oh,
you
like
get
it's
4
four
from?
square
Look, look.
4 because it's short.
The hypotenuse is twice the short leg, and we know that the
In the 30,
hypotenuse
60, 90, right? The hypotenuse is double the short.
Divided by 2.
Oh, so we're
4
like,
square root
So
of
4
3.
is short, so
Down is 4 square root of 3.
it's like this is a short.
So now we know the height is 4.
Oh, Oh, because I don't have information on top.
Now we also know, because we need to know this piece down here.
So that's what you do the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh, I guess you could, for sure. You definitely could, but I didn't do it that way. But you can definitely do that. So what I did was I know still 30, 60, 90 rules. I said that the long leg is root 3 times the short. And we know the short now is 4. So to find this piece, I just said that it was 4 root 3.
Zero question. The
Yeah.
base length is 6. Is that given?
No, that's not 6, that's just B.
Oh,
That's not given at all.
Because the long equals 3.
Wait. Can you do that one more time?
It's just a rule. Like, one of the rules is that the long leg in a 30, 60, 90 triangle.
this. And then.
So one of the rules is that the long leg is the square root of 3 times the short. So long leg equals square root of 3 times 4. We found the short leg to be 4.
And that's 4. Okay.
So that's 4 root 3. But you definitely can use the Pythagorean theorem if you want to do that. I just didn't. So now we know, like, this piece is 4 root 3. So that's part of the triangle's base. But we also need this base right here. So let's look at this triangle over here, for which we don't know any angles other than this one. We know that this is 90.
We know that one's 4.
So we're using 45, 45.
No. Does it say 45, 45 anywhere?
No, that's what Eric said.
Does it say anything is 45 degrees?
Yeah.
Then why do you think it is?
No, I said that. I said
Lies. Never assume. If we are trying to find this piece, how do I do that? You just did it.
Pythagorean theorem.
Yes, Pythagorean theorem. So you're going to do x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared.
That's right.
So
I
it's
found
x
what was my
squared
wrong.
plus
Oh my.
16 equals 25, and then 16
What are you talking about?
25.
I searched 60,
It's what's
90,
25 minus
like a
30.
triangle
X is
theorem, and then
30.
trying to find the same
Yep.
measurements. Stupid.
Okay. So x, which is this piece here, is 3.
It's 2.
And then we had found earlier that this was 4 root 3.
Is that it?
So let's start plugging stuff in. So area is 1/2 times the base. So the base is this whole thing.
So it's 12 square root 3.
Unfortunately, we can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, we have to just add 3 plus 4 root 3. And then the height we said was 4.
Wait.
So 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 4.
No, you can't do that. You cannot add these things. These are not like terms. 3 and 4 root 3 are not like terms.
Like that's the. Like that's.
Like, you just have to leave it like that.
Oh, wait. So, then
So what you're going to do is combine the 1/2 and the 4, so that's 2.
Oh, okay. So
And then you can distribute the 2.
into the 3s and the 4s.
Yeah. So that's going to make that 6 plus 8 root 3. Now, if you had a calculator, you could, like, you know, do that on a calculator,
6 plus 9.
but you don't. So we're just going to call it a day.
Wait, are we using a calculator?
Hold on,
for this
I
section?
have to
No.
understand this. Okay, so
Polygon. From the picture, you can count that it's got 6 sides, so that makes it a hexagon, which is good. We know that 1/2 area times perimeter, or apothem times perimeter, is the formula for a regular polygon. We need to draw some stuff. So we'll draw some radii in here,
68 degree each side.
and then we will calculate one angle by doing 360 divided by 6. And that gives us 60. So each of these angles is 60. We're going to focus on 1/2 of those triangles.
Cut the 3 degree. Sorry.
Wait. 1/2.
Like, we're focusing on just half of one of these.
So you're gonna have.
So if the whole angle is 60, this little angle would be what?
30, and then the bottom one's 90. So then it's a 30, 69.
Exactly.
10 millimeter basically.
Right. Now, if this whole piece down here is 20, then half of it,
Is 20.
Is-
I mean,
is 10. So we know the 10.
yes.
Now, the reason I pulled that out is because we need this guy, Mr. Apothum. So we need
Long leg.
this piece, which is our long leg.
Daddy long leg.
Square root is 3 times.
We know long leg is the square root of 3 times short. Which one's the short?
10.
So Apothum is root 3 times 10, or 10 root 3.
This is for like all shapes.
Yeah,
All
this is
these-
for all regular
Now
polygons.
these 360s and like.
Yep.
I like how it's not even.
Now we didn't find the perimeter. How do we find the perimeter?
20 times 6.
Right. So the perimeter is the side length times how many there are. So 20 times 6. So what's that?
120.
120.
Okay, so let's plug that in.
Wait,
So
you were 1/2 AP. It's 1/2 AP times side, right?
10, well, you can do half 120.
perimeter. P is
Half
perimeter.
120 is what? 60. 60. So 60.
Who's A then?
And then
Apothum.
10.
This piece.
Oh, okay.
So 60 times 3.
Or yeah, not side. I meant
It's
perimeter.
600 square root.
Right here.
So if you multiply it, if you do half times 120, you get 60. And then you do 60 times 10, you get 600. Root 3. That's the, I think, easiest way to multiply those. So, number 5, use the Pythagorean theorem. Number 7, you literally just do area equals base times height. You multiply the numbers together and you're done. This is the hard one. So in a kite, these angles are congruent. So I know it's sideways, but tiny, this says 45 degrees. So we're going to use that to find some things. So if you look at this triangle, that triangle, because in a kite these angles are congruent, that makes this
45,
angle,
45, 90.
yeah, a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And we know the hypotenuse of that triangle is 3 root 2. That's this piece. So the rules for 45, 45, 90 triangle is hypotenuse is root 2 times the leg. And we need the leg. So if the hypotenuse is 3 root 2, and we need the leg, what would the leg have to be?
3.
Why?
Because that's what the hypotenuse.
Because square root 2 times. No, it's dy by square root.
Yeah, if you divide by the square root of 2, they cancel and you get 3 equals Mr. Leg. Now Mr. Leg, he is this leg and this leg. Because remember, 45, 45, 90 triangles are special. So this is 3 and so is this.
All 3.
And then also, right, also this guy is 3 because those triangles there are the same triangles. So that is also 3.
So we just found that one diagonal is 6.
Now I didn't actually write down my formula. So what's the formula for area of a kite?
Area equals 1/2 times d1 d2.
Good. So D1 we can call this one, which is
6.
6 because 3 plus 3 equals 6. Yay, math. And then D2 we can call this one,
9. No?
yeah, 9 because 3 plus 6 is 9. Now we multiply it all together,
Half it and you get area equals 3 times 9.
which is
A number.
27.
24. 27.
24.
I'm trying to learn how to do visual math.
Like it's
It's called use your fingers.
We have, I'm going to go super fast. So
Okay.
area of a triangle, what you're going to, area of a rectangle is going to be base times height. Now we have the base, right? What's the base?
The base is 12.
Right, so we have the base, but unfortunately we do not have the height. So that's the height. So we're going to find it by looking at this as a right triangle. So focusing on this triangle, we need the height. So we will use what?
Oh, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
So Pythagorean theorem
Okay, Grace.
to solve. So I get h squared plus 144 equals 225. And then I'm going to subtract 144 and I get 81. And then when I square root 81, what do I get? 9. So that makes 9.
Then 12 times 9 is
Yes.
454. I was close. I said 48.
54.
What? No.
108.
Oh.
Hmm?
How'd you get 54?
Oh, I did the.
You don't want to do
1/2,
half of it.
Yeah, 1/2.
Because we're finding the area of the whole rectangle, yeah. And then the very last one, real fast, is super duper easy because they already give you everything. You just do 40 times 21.
That's 840.
Yeah.
That's it.
And yeah, that's it.
Feet squared.
So that one's the easiest.
I feel a little better.
Can you just put in 105?